Andor did a fantastic job of expanding on a side of the Star Wars universe that we saw glimpses of in Rogue One, a grittier, more grounded take on the classic sci-fi universe. There are so many parts of the show that really pop off, but today I want to look at one scene in particular that I think is one of the best written moments in the history of Star Wars. This scene is from Season 1, Episode 10, Luthen's Monologue. So let's dive in. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys, if you like this sort of content. This scene is between Luthen and Lonnie. It's here where we find out that Lonnie is an informant for the rebellion. Throughout the show, we've seen him many times working for the ISB, and we've had no real reason to suspect him. He's sort of been in the background of a lot of scenes. But here he is, and he's acting very differently.
If this is a trap, press the buttons for 215. We'll have privacy. We're running express. First of all, congratulations.
On what?
Your daughter.
We see him on guard, twitchy as his jaw clenches. You can see there's a sense of fear in his eyes as he's talking to Luthen, whispering to him, worried about the fact that Luthen knows about his personal life, about his child.
On what?
Your daughter. Healthy, beautiful. You must be pleased.
Is that meant to scare me?
This is a subtle show of power from Luthen's part, letting Lonnie know how much he knows about his life, how much he watches him.
Well, it's been a year since we've had a chance to catch up. You've become a father. It's not worth mentioning.
It's not fair. You knowing, watching me. Do you ever think how it might feel from my side?
And there is a sense of paranoia about Lonnie's actions here and his tone of voice.
I think about you constantly. Why are we here tonight, Lonnie?
There's a new supervisor rising.
Still, that twitchy nature, he's short of breath as he tells Luthen about the goings-on about Dedra Meero, a supervisor in the ISB. This information that he's giving Luthen is life-threatening. If he gets caught sharing this with anyone, let alone someone in the rebellion, he will be killed. There's no doubt about that. This is dangerous work, and we can see the cracks starting to show. He's not comfortable doing this anymore.
This is good. Encourage this.
Why is this good?
Because she's wasting time.
You had nothing to do with Aldani.
Well, almost nothing. We were invited but declined. They got lucky. We don't build on luck.
I love that line. We got lucky. We don't build on luck. Luck is something that is welcomed, yes. Luthen is capitalizing on it, but he doesn't bank on it. The rebellion isn't built on coincidences and good fortune. It's built on planning and sacrifice. It's a glimpse into Luthen's true nature and true way of doing things.
This can't be why you're here.
Here you can see Lonnie scrambling a little bit, looking for more things to say. We find out later his motivations for dumping all of this information on Luthen.
We know that there's a raid planned on the power station at Spellhouse if Krieger attacks. They'll be waiting.
And if he doesn't, they'll know something's amiss.
They'll be slaughtered.
It's 50 men. You're worth more than that.
This is a blunt and harsh line from Luthen. 50 men is a lot of lives. And to send them on the mission, knowing that they are going into an ambush, that is cold and merciless. But to Luthen, it is necessary. If they call off the attack, the ISB will know that there is a mole, that there is a spy within their ranks, and they will root out and find Lonnie. They will pin it down to him, and he's invaluable to Luthen. It points to Luthen's true nature, willing to send 50 men to their deaths, to keep the greater plan alive, to keep his tactical advantage.
You have to warn them.
To what end? Ruin everything? What better way to reassure the ISB there's no leak in security than sacrificing Krieger? I'm doing this for you, as much as anything.
I'm doing this for you. He's doing it to keep Lonnie alive because of how useful he is, how necessary he is to Luthen. I have no doubt that Luthen would turn on Lonnie in a second if Lonnie's allegiance changed. And then the doors open to this shot, and I love it. Luthen stands there on the narrow walkway as the wind flows through his cape. The symmetry of the shot highlights him in the centre. He is shrouded in darkness, the puppet master of the rebellion, the brains, the strategy behind the birth of this movement. And he faces Lonnie, who stands in the elevator, claustrophobic, trapped. It mirrors his current situation. He cannot get out. He is confined to this place, this role in Luthen's plan. Throughout the whole conversation, he doesn't leave this space. He can't. Luthen won't let him, just like he won't let him walk away from the rebellion.
I can't do this anymore. I'm a father now. I had no idea how it would feel.
It can't be easy for Lonnie. You can see through his characterization that this man has been affected by this role. He is meek, introverted, closed off. As I said before, he's twitchy, lacking in confidence. A life like his is full of fear, constantly worrying for your life and for the lives of those around you.
We took a vow.
I'm giving you Dedra Miro. I'm giving you Spellhouse. I'm warning you about Ferrix. I'm honoring my vow.
So what was your plan? What were you planning to tell the ISB?
My health. My wife's family has an import business.
Even as you say the words, you know it's impossible.
Luthen's manipulative side showing itself here, gaslighting Lonnie in a sense, telling him that his plan is doomed and won't work, making him doubt his own reality and his own schemes to get out of this messy situation. But I do think Luthen has a point. It's not that easy, and Lonnie is being too optimistic.
We can't let you go, Lonnie. We can't spare you. We've been grooming you for too long, and yes, you've been alone. Your career has profited greatly from information that we've provided. Information that cost me dearly.
And so Luthen lays his cards on the table. Lonnie is too precious to let go. He is too useful. He makes it clear that himself and the rebellion have sacrificed a lot of information and people to keep Lonnie safe, to keep Lonnie's career trajectory intact. Luthen is trying to plant a sense of guilt in Lonnie. If he leaves now, if he gives up, he's rendering all of those sacrifices useless. Lonnie's life has been propped up by so many others, so he doesn't have the right, he doesn't have the option of leaving when he wants to.
You love your daughter. Krieger's men will be dying to make sure she has a father. You're trapped, Lonnie. There's no pleasure in saying it, but you're going nowhere.
My sacrifice means nothing to you, does it?
Lonnie sacrifices so much. His whole life is full of fear and stress, and he looks at the man orchestrating all of that and asks this question.
And what do you sacrifice?
There is a frustration here. Here I am putting my life on the line, in the weeds, in the lion's den itself, every single day. And what do? Sit in the shadows, using other people's lives to attain your goals. And so Luthen responds with the best monologue, the best piece of writing in the whole of Star Wars. The question hits him as unexpected. It takes him a moment to gather his thoughts as he walks towards Lonnie, close to the camera, symbolizing how we're about to truly dive into Luthen's inner thoughts, his inner truth.
Calm. Kindness, kinship. Love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space.
Look how Stellan Skarsgård keeps looking down and away from Lonnie. He doesn't fully fix his gaze. This shows that Luthen is truly being honest, being introspective. He is pulling from memories and feelings from deep within his soul and laying it all out on the table in a way he might not have done before. This isn't a rehearsed speech he's memorized. This is truly off the cuff, real.
I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago from which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do.
A world devoid of love and light, laughter and friendship. A hollowed out human with only one purpose.
My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight. They set me on a path from which there's no escape.
Words aren't rehearsed. The meaning behind them has been known to Luthen for a while. He's accepted his role in this, propelled by the very nature of his being, his ego, anger, a stubbornness to give up along a road with no return. He has come too far. He can't look away from the prize he is running towards.
I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice?
There is an anger that is bubbling up here as no one actually sees what he does. Nothing is attributed to him. He is a shadow.
I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see.
But to accomplish what he wants, he must stoop to the levels of the ones he so hates. A man who has slowly had all sense of decency, all sense of honesty and dignity eroded away from him. This life has forced him to be dishonest, cold and calculated, the same as his enemy, the same as the Empire. He himself is a walking sacrifice for those to come, and he will never see the world he is fighting for. His life is forfeit for his cause, driven by his own desire for change and his own ego to see himself do it, but not for any reward. Not spurred on by the promise of anything lavish, no public appreciation, no medals or ceremonies in his name, fighting the fight in the shadows, behind closed doors, when others' backs are turned, because that is the only way for this cause to thrive. Doing all of this purely for his fellow man to wake up one day and not be controlled by tyranny, with the knowledge that he won't be there to witness it. Whether that is due to him falling in the battle itself or being brought to justice for his crimes after the fight is eventually won.
Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
Luthen has come to terms with what he is, who he has become. He's come to terms with it because he knows that that is what he needs to be. He has become the bedrock of a rebellion that will become far greater than him, but a rebellion that owes its very existence to men like himself, those who were willing to defile themselves for the greater good, for a brighter future.
Just stay with me, Lonnie. I need all the heroes I can get.
And so Luthen puts Lonnie in his place, asserting his control over him, telling him that he will stay, as he closes the door, trapping Lonnie in his cage. Stellan Skarsgård brought to life one of the most interesting characters that we've ever seen in Star Wars, and in this scene we see the angry and emotional explosion of a man who has lost everything. This is why Andor works so well. The rebellion that we know from the original trilogy, fighting the good fight, defeating the Empire, throwing ceremonies for their heroes, was built on the backs of people like Luthen, people like Andor. Not heroes, morally righteous warriors of light and hope and justice, but survivors, fighters working in the shadows, those willing to do what others won't, sacrificing decency and humanity for a greater cause. We're invested because we know it works. Eventually, the Empire is overthrown. Luthen did make a difference. His goal was carried through to success. But when we see the ceremony at the end of A New Hope and all the heroes are getting their medals, we know that no one in the room will even know who Luthen is, what he sacrificed, the terrible acts he did for them to all be there, because that's not his role. And so he will carry on doing what he's doing alone, with the hope that those who come after him won't have to do the same. This show is phenomenal. That's all that needs to be said. I love it. And that's all for this one, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. It really helps the video. Thanks for watching. Bye!